Folks, look, just gonna go into some blues chord voicings here in just a second, but first of all, no extra charge for mistakes. But first, man, so sorry it's been a week since I've been on here. If you've been following on any social media or anything, it was just an amazing week. We got into Boston Sunday night, woke up Monday morning, and other than a guy driving a plumbing company truck and trailer into the guardrail and my fence at my rental property in Berry Hill and destroying that was the first text message I got Monday morning when I woke up at 8 o'clock. I was like, oh my God, of course. So that's cool. They're going to pay for that. And I didn't even have to deal with that on my own. So that was awesome. But that Monday we went to the Berklee College of Music in Boston and played with the trio from 3 to 5 and did a nice symposium, took some questions, played some songs, took some questions, played some songs. About 1,000 students, great kids, great questions, great staff at Berklee, and just want to say thanks to anybody that was there and thanks to the staff at Berklee for making it just an awesome experience on that one. Then we hustled over to the Amtrak station, and me and Tim and Jordan, my trusty rhythm section and musical compadres, couldn't do it without those guys, man. They're incredible and just troopers all the way around, family men, you know, nice, decent human beings. And so we jumped on an Amtrak, went right down to New York City, got to the hotel, went to the rooftop, stunning hotel. Thanks to our girl Chelsea at Storied Travel that hooks all that up for us. And just a beautiful spot in New York. And then the next day, Tuesday night, we played the Bitter End, sold it out again. Wednesday night, played the Bitter End, sold it out again. Osnoy came out and played some songs. Man, it was just as good as it gets for us. We love that club. We love that the staff and the owner there. And just the fact that it's become our little home away from home there in New York City, man. I can't express to you how grateful I am for those experiences and the fact that the things that I wanted to be doing, you know, 3 to 5 years ago of like, okay, man, I really want to be doing my own thing more. I want to be doing this. I want to be doing that. I'd love to be out on the road with the trio more and doing our own music in front of people in another city. Now we're doing it, man. We're doing it. It's all happening. And I couldn't be more thrilled, more excited. Anyway, back in Nashville now, and I just wanted to do a video. I thought this would be kind of cool to go over some voicings that I use for the blues. And so I'm doing a lot of stuff on that little intro. You don't have to do any of that, but that's the direction that we could go in with that. And so I'm basically taking these big, you know, another huge part of this is I'm internalizing the rhythm of, you know, whatever kind of groove you're doing, if it's a slow blues or a shuffle, you know, the swing feel. You got to internalize that blues chord progression, you know, the 1-4-5 progression. That's what everything's built on. So, you know, so I'm basing it on just G7, D7, sorry, G7 to the 4, C7, or C9. Those chords to me they're not the same, but in a way they are, because you're not going to really play anything
totally different. You can insert this 9 chord for the C7 chord. It's the same thing. You're just changing from this to, right? Same for D. So if you don't know that 9 chord, the way I like to play it is bar 3 notes on the top with your ring finger. The second finger, your first finger plays the 2nd fret D string. Then your middle finger plays the root, the C. Go up to D. All the way up to G. So these chord shapes are they're movable, right? So just like any closed chord, they're movable. So from the 5 chord, that little walk up, 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, and then from the 5, chromatically, you can walk all the way back to the 1. You can also walk chromatically from the 1 to the 4. Can't go from the 4 to the 5 like that or anything. Well, you can, but you can't do that. You can't do that nice chromatic walk up all the way up. That's pretty cool. That's a great little slow blues or shuffle trick, you know. So there's that. So what I'm doing with the big chord here, you might play the big chord, but you're not gonna. You got to be really careful to only let the notes speak that you want to speak. So I want to establish the root. I might do something like that. Or I'm not playing all the notes, but I might go. I might do a little bass note hit. Maybe even two of those notes. Then like the top 3. Then I'm focusing on the triads in the middle, the D, G, and B. So that little move there. Where I'm playing like a C triad, then I'm hammering the major 3rd on, right? Go to C. But that has to be so clean. You have to be just letting the notes speak that you want to speak. That's the triads, right? It's all going to be kind of compartmentalized down into 3 notes, unless specified differently. So that's a great little voicing. You can do that kind of stuff. Right, so that's G, C triad, little G7 thing there with the root, the 5th, and the flat 7 out of this shape. That's your G7. So go to C. Go to D. C. G. So that's that turnaround, right? That's the return of the cycle of the chord progression. So there's that. Here's a great kind of an uptown B.B. King voicing. So it's a G7. Instead of that, we're just going to back that off a half step. That gives you a G13. So I'm putting the... You can do that little trick, right? But that's kind of that uptown blues. Another thing you can do is you can play that voicing like this. So that's just this. And I'm adding the E note on the B string with my little finger. So that's the big G bar chord shape. And then my thumb is on the top, or on the bottom rather, the G. Right, so that's for like a more uptown B.B. King. Kind of a jump blues voicing, right? Okay, there's that. Now, here's one of my favorites for shuffling. Is if I go down, and this is in G also. So if I play like an E minor shape, but I just raise the A string note to an E to an F, that gives me a G, I think it's a G9 also. But it's the, oh man, this is a tough one. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's a very cool voicing. The G is here. The E is here, the B is here, and then the flat 7 is on the bottom. But let me show you why this is cool. So don't forget, it's an E minor chord, and just raise that E to an F. Then you get this cool G voicing, right? So this is very cool because about what I'm about to show you. This voicing, G to C. Watch how close these voicings are together. That's C, G, D, C, G. Right? So that, the next voicing, that's going to be your C chord. So that's going to be, that's the same as that. So this, that's a G, a D, a B flat, and an E. G, D, same voicing as the C. Watch. Little half step moves. Back to C. Then you can interchange those. You can do it down here. That voicing. This one up here sounds better to me. It's so close together. When these voicings are really close together, that to me is what's cool. Another thing you can do here is this voicing is pretty cool, I think. So if I go my G here, here's my G7, right? Because there's G, there's G7. I'm adding the root with my first finger. Now watch. All that's happening is this is going back a half step to make a diminished shape, which is the old Robert Johnson sound. So if I go, the G stays the same, except this just goes back a half step. So okay, what that's doing now is, there's my G, there's G7 in my C shape. Now I'm just going to take these two fingers and they drop down to where this is the same, except my little finger's now on the high fifth, the D note. Now guess what? Since diminished chords move up in 4 frets at a time, that means that right here, watch. So if you really look look at this, that G stays the same. Everything, the only thing else that's moving down a half step is this. But I'm doing it like, that's the proper voicing, right? So. Let's see. Okay, now my next voicing is this. Now here's what I really love. In G, which I'm down here in the dusty frets, but if you were in like C, out of the A shape. So I'm taking the G-shaped C chord, but I'm not, instead of playing this, I'm using that. So watch. Back to G. To the D. That's a lot, but watch. There's my G-shaped D, the 5 chord of this G, which we've been in the key of G pretty much all the time. But watch. There's my D7 D dominant 7 scale. All that works. Voicings. Here's a great little thing right here. Watch. G7, C7. Not the diminished, but actually changing to the C chord if we want to do that here. Here's another little trick. Sus that. Interchangeable. That's what I want to show you. So right here, I'm just raising that B to a C, right? Now we got the C7, D7. Nice little turnaround. Great walk down. G, D-shaped G, but playing just the D, G, and B. Now watch. If you don't get anything else out of this video, this is the shit. Little finger on the E, on the D, first finger on the G, ring finger on the B. Then when we switch to this voicing, that's like a D sharp, or we're really just going. It's a nice walk down. So this, then that's really this going down, but you want to, the fingering in the hand position is everything. Then this, down a whole half step. That's a A to the D. Robert Johnson. tritone that we did last lesson. Up to the C chord, G shape. So many cool things you can do with that. That's just the tip of the iceberg, but I hope you got something out of those cool little shuffle voicings. And the rhythm, of course, with that is like this. Shuffle into the night, man. Look, just throwing this at you, getting back in the swing of things here with the YouTube channel. Thanks a million. We're on our way to 90,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Thanks for everything that you guys do. Thanks for the tip jug donations. Thanks for the subscribing and all the things that we're doing here in the virtual world of guitar and music. So this is the best part of the internet, is being able to share this with you. There's no, hopefully there's no clickbait. There's no bullshit. You can tell I'm just jumping in and going for it here. And that's, what we like to do. And hopefully you guys are digging it, which I think you are. So again, man, look, I love you guys. You know who you are. Thanks for coming to Boston. Thanks for coming to New York. Thanks for coming and seeing us with Dennis Quaid in Chicago. We jumped into that thing and that was a blast as well. Man, what a cool town Chicago is. I just love it. Boston, New York, Chicago, we're all incredible as always. And man, the adventure continues. We'll see you guys real soon. All right. Thanks a bunch. Cheers.